Welcome to the HD Podcast.
Here we go. Right, welcome to the HD Podcast. The first of many successful podcasts, hopefully.
Indeed.
Yeah, so I'll kick off. My name's Scott Murphy. As you know, I'm Managing Director and Co-Founder of HD Talent.
Dale Graham, co-founder of HD Group, alongside
Ashley Wheeler,
Nice
co-founder
to
of
meet you
HD
guys.
Group, so HD Agency and HD Talent with Scott.
I guess we should probably start with why we've actually decided to do a podcast. I think we've been about 6 months in the.
Are
in
we
the making.
famous enough?
No, absolutely not.
Ash, what's your reason that you want to start a podcast?
It's more around we do really well with our vlogs, and I think people have got a good idea of what we're about, both from a talent perspective and more so from an agency. Obviously, we've been around a little bit longer. I think one of the things we miss is in terms of actually talking properly about some of the work that we do and some of the great things we have done. I think we're consciously so busy with everything else that we sometimes don't take a second to step back. And also, some of the things we've done in the past, like startup stories, I think it's a great opportunity to get other people in and to talk to them about it and learn from them, as opposed to us just talking about ourselves as well.
Yeah, I think one thing that we've all picked up on is running a business and being as busy as we are, you forget to talk about all of your successes and the clients that you work with and all the great stuff that's going on because you're so busy working on other people's campaigns and brands and things like that.
So what's the agenda for today? What are we trying to get out of it?
I think as this is episode 1, our pilot, I think it's probably good to just maybe take a trip down memory lane.
So you kick off then?
Yeah. So I think, I actually met Ash. It's got to be more than 10 years ago now, isn't it? Yeah.
I think so.
So we knew each other then through mutual friends. And then we stayed in contact a little bit. You started working and helped set up a chatbot company, and I reached back out to him through my old agency. And we spoke again a little bit. And then I think I bumped into you in a nightclub. We were both more sweaty than we are currently right now in this 33-degree heat. And we decided to go and sit in a corner for about 2 hours and waste our night talking about how we both love to set up an agency.
It was
And
literally in
then-
Pam Pams, and I think I had several VK Blues at the time. It was awful.
Some Chris Brown on with it.
Yeah, honestly.
Shout out to Pam Pams 2020.
Free advertising for you, Pam Pams.
Yeah, so I knew Ash wanted to set up an agency and I wanted to do something similar. I don't think we were quite ready to do so at the time.
It was
And
steaming.
so, no, yeah, we were drunk at the time.
Couldn't have made any contracts.
Straight on company's house. God, what should we call it? I got an idea.
That's where HD come from.
Right, yeah, we'll get onto that. And I think I was doing a bit of a consultancy gig, and Ash brought me on to work with him doing some consultancy work for, I believe it was Bristol Tech Showcase.
Yeah, it was with Nick.
Yeah,
Nick, his brother.
where we held a big event with 300-400 people at the Concord in Bristol Filton.
Yeah, I can remember that. You trying to sell me tickets for it.
Did I? Obviously doing a good job. Did you buy one?
No, did I?
And then shortly after that, January 2020, we sort of sat down and decided that we're gonna go for it. And I actually wanted to call it HDE. The t-shirts were printed, the name was chosen, the meaning was chosen. We didn't necessarily rebrand, we just scrapped the meaning.
Yeah.
And now we just float on this enigma cloud where no one knows what it means.
I love that.
I love the enigma around it as well. And we've probably had the best part of 10,000 hours speaking about where it's come from.
Can you remember when you first started Talent and you were coming up with these brilliant
I
stories?
still am.
Oh, it's
Mate, I
fantastic,
still don't
mate.
know where it's come from.
Ash's German auntie, twice
Yeah, yeah.
removed.
So, for the record now,
You King
now that this
Arthur.
is being recorded, where did it actually come from? Because I've still got that German story.
Yeah,
of
it's
it
it's
meaning
legit.
Heinz Dry Energy.
Do you think
Heinz Dry It? No.
Do you think
Mate, that's the one I've been using over the last
Heinz
4
Dry
weeks.
Energy.
do you think there's clients listening now thinking like, they told me this, they told me that?
Oh,
100%. Yeah. I don't know. I feel a bit. I want to kind of leave it out there. To be honest, I don't want to talk about it.
Nice.
I'm gonna shut you down.
In the meantime, we have had lots of people come up with their own variations from
Yeah.
high definition.
That's my favourite.
entrepreneurs.
That was
Griff? Yeah.
High definition entrepreneurs.
January
2020.
21st, 2020 is when we both sat in my apartment in Bristol and registered it online.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, I have made a mistake.
What, you spelled it wrong?
Yeah, we're talking about first clients.
We were pitching an Australian firm at ridiculous o'clock in the morning. I think we stayed up until like 3, 4 at Dell's apartment, literally bashing out our presentation and pricing everything. Hang on a minute, we also went to London during this as well, didn't we, for another pitch?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
so
we
in
did.
between us pitching our first like hero client, we got the National Express to London because the train was too expensive. You can get National Express for like £4 return. We went, yeah, right, sound. We walked into town centre to meet each other to go to the bus station. Everyone's like kicking out of like Oceana or whatever it's
Yeah.
called, Prism, getting kebabs around. We're there with our little trolley cases going, come on then. So yeah, we spent about a month putting together this presentation for this client in Australia. We got down to like the final rounds. Bear in mind, back then it was just literally me and Dell and his dining room table, and we had to like pitch at like 7 o'clock in the morning. I arrived with about a minute to go. I didn't even have time to have a shower or anything on my little scooter. Went down to the rented office that we had below your apartment, and literally pitched the hell out of it, and it was successful. It was really, really good.
It was good, yeah. It was, yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
Cracking.
Memorable it was.
Sounds great. Sounds class.
Dell did all the talking.
No, it was
Sounds
good.
like your brain's still in that presentation.
Yeah, no, it was. I remember.
We came up with some mental ideas on it.
Yeah,
didn't
we come up with some crazy ideas. We were like speaking with train providers, and we were like wrapping trains with logos, and we were doing all sorts of stuff.
We had
Yeah.
robots writing handwritten letters. We were using like machine learning.
Well, I remember just getting off that call, and the UK marketing partner who we were like liaising with at the time, her just like sending a text or a WhatsApp or something, just being like, "Boys, you absolutely smashed it." And me and Ash just like looked at each other like, "Fuck."
Cool.
Yeah.
And what was it, like a day later, it was like 11, half 11, Dell rings me up. He was like, "Boy, wait, we won the contract."
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, they called
First
me.
one,
Yeah.
right? So we went through all that sort of like whole time, a month, whatever, developing this thing and this proposal and this pitch. It was beautiful. And then fucking COVID decides to rear its
Oh,
head.
God.
And then them and one other person, who were our only clients at the time, just we're stopping everything. All that work you've
well,
done.
I think we had about 2 to 3 small to medium-sized clients
Small though, yeah.
at the same time, and it was like COVID's hit. You know, everyone was like checking in at 5 o'clock to listen to Boris.
Yeah.
And we were like, we've gone like 6 weeks now. We're absolutely fine. You know, we're not being affected. And all of a sudden, 1 client, 2 clients, 3 clients, they just called us up,
Yeah.
freeze invoices, freeze retainers, freeze
Everything.
projects. I think we were in limbo for a good.
You didn't tell me that at the time, mind.
Business is booming.
Yeah. Like, this is unbelievable. Come and join us, man.
Yeah. No, I think we were in limbo for about 3 or 4 weeks, and then I think
Yeah.
because we're obviously placed in the tech and digital sector, I think everyone started to realise, you know, they're not retail, they're not this, you know, we're not actually that affected, and more companies were flipping online
It's
immediately.
completely opposite, yeah.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, the phone starts ringing, and we're winning more clients, we're having to hire more, and then it just literally snowballed. I think the first lockdown we started like hiring one every other month, or
Yeah.
once a month. From
Yeah.
2 of us grew to like 3 or 4 within literally a couple of months, and then the second lockdown we did exactly the same, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we were very, really fortunate, really, really lucky in terms of like technology as an industry was probably one of the most resolute ones in terms of, you know, if you were a service industry or service company selling into an industry,
Yeah.
absolutely over the last 2 years you probably wanted to be in tech.
Did you ever think at any point during that like sort of limbo period that this is going to completely ruin us?
Oh yeah, of course. Like
Mm.
literally when we're getting the calls from this amazing new client that we've got that we're not doing anything, freeze everything, I absolutely bricked myself, not gonna lie. Like, I actually took up smoking during lockdown. I literally was so stressed. I
Yeah.
remember having conference calls and just being like, my head's about to explode.
Yeah.
And I go out onto the balcony and I was generally smoking about 20 cigarettes a day. I don't know, it was a really stressful time because everything that all the effort we put in,
Yeah.
and this was it.
Mm.
It was shit or bust. Like
Yeah.
there's no plan B. You know, there was nothing. There was no other option. This was our thing. And I think it's also a bit of ego as well because imagine it did go belly up. I
Yeah.
would be Stroll. Yeah, it would have rocked me for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not very good at failing. It's one of my weaknesses.
That's the next podcast.
Yeah. How to deal with failure, episode 2. Let's talk about how we got Scott involved with the business.
I think it was similar to you guys, where we built those relationships. But I think where I'd reached a stage in my recruitment career, and I just become a bit disillusioned with the actual sector. You've got to try and balance it against. Obviously, you want to have a profitable company. You also have to represent those companies, and it's about quality. It's about being transparent. It's about offering a proper consultancy, which is the recruitment sector. Like from my side, when just knowing you boys sociably, from a friendship point of view, but then setting up a business with you, I think our values were very much aligned.
Yeah.
I think you guys started to get a lot of referrals, so naturally through the community and the network within the Bristol and the Southwest tech scene, people will come to you and say, guys, you've done a good piece of work on this. By the way, we've grown as a result of what you've done with our digital marketing strategy or socials or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know any good recruiters that we can form this sort of relationship with? And that was missing for a long time in my own career. Why can't we use recruitment as the service that it is? So, putting it back onto our clients. If a client has found an unbelievable hire, talking about that.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense. When we actually approached you, because me and Ash have been talking about this for like a while, you actually turned around to me and said, do you know what? I've actually been thinking about setting up my own business anyway.
Yeah.
Was there like a specific part or point in your life? Was there like a trigger that was like, I want to do this on my own?
And I've always had an appetite not to just be a consultant that is building their own desk out and quite comfortable on that. I've worked both client side and delivery side. I've always had something in me where I've wanted to grasp the full repertoire of roles within recruitment, and I think I was just it was probably 18 months before that I was thinking try and do something on my own, and then I was like, boss company's house. It's that. It was, and weirdly, when we set up, and bear in mind, you'd only really gone through it 6 months prior to me onboarding. You're getting letters through from different companies, and you need to have licenses in place. For me, working in some big agencies where back office is totally taking control
Don't see any of that.
You're like, how much is LinkedIn and stuff like that. Suddenly, you're in charge of your own budget, and that was fun and games trying to set up a budget. And I was like, I've only ever really sort of managed myself. I had sight of profit and loss accounts in the past, but really getting into it, hell of a lot more work than you thought. And I think, going back to your question, that's probably what put me off from doing it earlier, because I was sort of like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And not that when we all started together, any of us had that experience of that before, but we were all in it together.
So in terms of highlights thus far, what has been the highlights?
I would probably say our very first hire, which was Olivia Pope.
She's good, isn't she?
So our marketing account manager, she come in and she just whipped the shit out of everything, and she just got us on form, got all of our clients aligned. The communication between the agency and the client was second to none, and it was also just a good proud moment to say we've hired someone.
She, now that we know, after she started with us, she walked to the interview with I'm Every Woman on to get her ramped up for the interview.
She was listening to I'm Every Woman, volume 10, on her headphones, just power walking through King Street. And then I think that highlight or milestone would probably be the Austrade, the Australian government contract.
That's why I said you only have one.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll let you take over from
Ash,
there.
what is your highlight?
Funny you should ask, Murph. No, I think, not to interject, I think that's a shared highlight from both of us. I think we winning Austrade and Australian government as clients of ours, and the work that we're doing and where it's put us in terms of accessibility into the Australian market is second to none. We worked on that deal for literally from the first 6 months of working with their largest SaaS company.
Yeah.
We put the wheels in motion a long time ago. So obviously this year when it closed, it was just brilliant because we've been focused and on that for a long time.
The weird realisation for me was thinking we've just brought 10 Australian companies over to the UK, and what a crazy week it was, and we're now in August and we have another 30 or 40 to do by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Scott, what about your highlight?
Wow, where do I start? Highlight's probably winning a client that's just got $17 million worth of funding from California. That's probably the highlight, and hopefully going to help us scale.
Cool.
Great.
Should we
Well done,
wrap
guys.
that up there? Pilot episode 1.
Okay.
We've got a lineup of some really interesting guests that are going to be talking all things Web3 and Metaverse. We've got lots more sort of marketing and recruitment talk. I think we've got a few guests that are going to come in to discuss how they've raised and exited from some amazing businesses as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, stay tuned.
HDE.
Oh.
Talent worldwide, wide.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Links in the bio.